Hey guys, I wanted to jump on real quick and go over some of the notes that I saw on the worksheet answers that were due last night at midnight. So the good news is that I will be, for this particular assignment, for the very first one, since we've got some growing pains in figuring out, what the expectation is how you're supposed to record your answers, what Moodle picks up on, etc. I'll be changing all of your homework grades to a 100, but I'm not going to go in and correct each individual one that you missed so that you're able to still see what you missed so you can go back and go through it again and learn where the problem might be. So I've gotten several emails too about people who might not have put in a percent sign when a percent sign was supposed to be there, or when a comma was supposed to be there, there wasn't a comma there, or you put a comma there. So there's lots of things I'm going to address pretty quickly. But the first thing I'm going to start out with is about rounding, and let you know what some of my takeaways were from what I saw when you guys were rounding. I will be opening up a notes book from this particular assignment. You will see that because you are looking at this video right now, and that's where this video is located. In the book, you're also going to find a video on how to round. It's an excellent video. I mean, it may seem kind of silly when you're taking a look at it, but for the most part, what I did figure out about how some of you round is that when you're given a question, let's say like number 1I. If you're working with this question right here and it says round to the nearest whole number, you've got folks that are starting all the way back here and rounding 5 to 8, 8 to 5, and then you're rounding up right here. When in actuality, the video that I posted calls it something different. I call it the next door neighbor rule. You only are supposed to look beyond one place where you're supposed to be rounding to. So for example, these instructions say round to the nearest whole number. I'm going to look, I need to round right here. I'm going to look next door, see that's a 4, and leave it at 148. Correct to one decimal place down here. I'm going to pick B, 27.62. If I need to round correctly to here, I'm going to look next door and see that that is a 2. So my answer is 27.6. Again, I want you to take a look at the video because they say something to the effect, draw the door, which is a great visual also. You do not need to round all the way back from wherever your last number is displayed. I think if it's been a while since you've been in rounding, that's a common mistake. So once you go back and work through the worksheet again, I want you to pay particularly close attention to those numbers that are like this, because more often than not, that's what's going to be displayed on your calculator. And here's the really terrible thing about rounding. Rounding will make you miss a problem that was fairly complicated. You're going to have all your numbers in the right place. You're not going to round to the right place, and you're going to miss the problem. So your RHIT exam is pretty well known for also giving you at least one answer with an incorrect rounding to it, the most frequent or the most common incorrect rounding as a distraction. So that's unfortunate, but that also exists too. So I would say go back, practice the rounding, make sure you're looking at the rounding in your textbook, and if you feel like you still need some extra practice or you're still not getting it, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it too with the things that you turn in. If I feel like you need some extra practice, I may reach out to you individually, because rounding is something that you're going to have to get under your belt immediately so you don't start to miss problems. Okie dokie. So I'm going to switch back over to Moodle. Also, when you are looking at Moodle, I think you guys know this by now, that unless the answer is what I have put into Moodle, then it's going to mark it wrong. So let's use the ones that I saw where people might have put a comma and I didn't have a comma in the answer, or vice versa. Just please know that when you're uploading your answers into Moodle, I'm always going to go back and check that. And if you have a comma comma and I didn't have a comma, or vice versa, something like that, that you think you got the right answer, but it's displayed a little differently than what I saw in Moodle, right off the bat, you don't have to send me an email about that because I'm going to be checking it. After I let you know that grades have been posted, if you feel that I missed something, it's appropriate to email me then. But I had a bunch of emails where you just turned it right in and said, hey, you didn't, I didn't have a comma, or I had a comma and you didn't. Will you please check that out? And I appreciate that you're letting me know that you had the right answer, but just know that with these uploaded assignments, I'm going to go in and be checking them. This will be, again, the only assignment that I'm going to change to 100, that you're getting it done. So that would help reduce the amount of emails that I get about something that I'm already going to fix for you. So I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I got emails about that was pretty specific was the fact that you guys didn't put percent signs in. Some of you didn't put percent signs in when the answer clearly called for a percentage. So I will just tell you, and some of you I emailed this back, and a number without a percent sign is just a number. It's not a percent. So as finite as math is, and you're probably going to be sick of me saying that, but there's nothing to take for granted in math. So if you give me an answer that is supposed to be a percent and you don't put a percent sign, there is a certain point that I'm going to start counting those wrong. So if you've calculated a percent and you know you've calculated a percent, I need that percent sign because that is your completed answer. If you just give me a number, it's a number, y'all, and a static number is very different than a percentage of something. So hopefully we'll get that cleared away too. Likewise, if you give me a percent and there's not a percent supposed to be on there, it's wrong too, because if it's supposed to be a number and you've told me it's a percent is very different than a static number. So one of the key things to take away from this conversation about percent signs is to know what you're calculating. That's going to be crucial. So watch, listen, learn. When I start posting videos about how to navigate through some of these chapters, we'll be talking about whether they're percentages or whether they're numbers, if they represent people, if they represent things. So hopefully that will help you figure out along the way whether or not you're supposed to have a percent sign. The other thing that I got a little bit of questions about was the fact that in using placeholders as answers. So let's see if I can open this up real quick. And I bet it's going to be on my other screen. Hang on one second. I'm just going to zip this over here real quick. All right, so what am I talking about? So let's say you had a problem where it asked you to show the answer 2 places past the decimal, and the answer for your problem happened to be a whole number. And some of this happened in this particular first worksheet, and everything that you missed I actually put in there on purpose so you would miss it and we could talk about it, because these are the most frequently missed items, and we're going to try to get them out of the way in the very beginning. So this one, let's say your answer should have been 7, but the answer said to please show the correct answer 2 places past the decimal. The best answer, the correct answer, is going to be 7.00. And I mean, I know you're rolling your eyes and you're like, what is she talking about? But I'm just telling you that on your RHIT exam, I'm, in addition, trying to prepare you to be a good employee, but mostly trying to help you pass the exam. This is the answer. The 7.00 is what they would be looking for if you're asked to show your answer 2 places past the decimal. Doesn't change anything. It's still a whole number. These 2 zeros represent a placeholder, and so if you go back through your worksheet and you find out that you missed one because of this, that's why. The answer is still 7, but the better answer is 7.00 because you were asked to have your answer shown to 2 places past the decimal. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense on the things that I saw on the worksheet that you guys may need to go back and review. You'll again see that original grade of yours flip over to a 100, and that is because, you know, it's one of our first assignments, and that's what we're going to do. If you take a look at this and you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. That's fine, because what will happen is if I get a lot of the same questions via email, I may pop in with an announcement, another video, or something to help you guys out. So I think that's it. I hope you have a great day.